Hey guys, welcome back to this week's backtesting series. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos, I highly suggest you go back and watch it. If you watched it, I highly suggest you go back and rewatch it. But before we get into this week's backtesting session, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been tuning in to this series and been subscribing, been liking, and been engaging through comments. I just want to say thank you. If these videos have been any help to you, please feel free to like and subscribe. But without wasting any more time, let's get into this week's backtesting session. Okay, so this is where we left off last week. I believe last week was an okay or good week, backtesting at least. It was a good week in the real markets as well, but backtesting. We finished up close to 6%. Hopefully we can see more trades this week so I can show you guys, the full potential of this strategy. What day? So on Fridays we don't trade Fridays, so we're just gonna skip all the way to Monday. And like I do every single day, remove everything, clear my charts, come back to the daily. I could start from the weekly to be fair because it's a new week. I'm just gonna highlight some stuff that are relevant in this week. The only thing I really see that's relevant is this fair value gap that we're basically pushing into. On the daily, anything else, probably still just that fair value gap and this high up here. Now I do believe price is going to push for this high, but just because I feel like it's going to go there doesn't mean it has to go there. So what we could see is price shoot back down into this fair value gap before we see the move up. We could see price come up, take the trade with and dump. Like, you have to keep your mind open, like I always say. So in terms of daily, that's really it. There's really not much going on. There's really nothing. This is just a high that, I want to see how price moves around this. If we come back and reject off this high, I see more, downside potential to this fair value gap or even lower. If we close above this high, I wouldn't be surprised if we go straight for this fair value gap. So on the daily for Monday, that's really it. 4 hour, still the same thing. Now, because the 4 hour closed above that swing point high, that daily high, I am, leaning more towards bullish than bearish, but my mind is still open to both possibilities. So what I would love to see on this Monday is price shoot back into this fair value gap, one of these two. So this one or this one. I'd like to see price shoot into that and then shoot off, which means I can either take the sells on the way down or wait for price to get into the fair value gaps and then take the buys on the way up. But I don't know what's going to happen, so we'll see. You don't need to predict the market. You don't need to rush. You just wait and see. On the hourly, still the same thing. On a Monday, sometimes on a Monday like this, I can tell I'm most likely not going to trade because the market just looks so rough. So we'll play it forward and see what happens. Oh, sorry, let me mark these up as fair value gaps so you guys know what we're actually looking at. Okay, cool. So just play it forward. There's really nothing here for us in the M15. It still looks a bit ugly. Price is still kind of range bound. You want to wait for price to make, a decision before either dropping out to the M5 or taking an entry. So I see nothing happening. Okay, we shot into these fair value gaps, which was basically what I was anticipating. Now I just want to wait and see if we get a buy, potentially. If we don't, then, probably won't take a trade today. Nah, price, okay, so this fair value gap was completely disrespected. Price shot into the second one. What time is it? It's already 1:30. There's no trade for us today. Yeah, there was really nothing. So I'm just going to go to next day. I wouldn't be surprised if price respected this or shot further, took a couple more lows and then starts to sweep up. Okay, let's see, it just respected that. So back to the daily again. Now, as you can see, price was rejected this high very nicely. But if you're watching the next day model videos, you'll know that when price fails to close above a swing high, then ideally you're expecting the next day to be bearish. So this day I'm anticipating it to be bearish, but I'm not, fixed on the bearishness. But we'll wait and see what happens. So if I'm targeting anyways, this low would be a nice area. But if I'm looking bullish, this high would be a nice area. I'm going to delete this swing point and we'll see what happens. On the 4 hour, this is also an order block. So I'm just going to make it red. Call it OB. It's a 4 hour order block. But because, on the daily, I'm really anticipating price pushing into this zone to take out these swing highs and then into that weekly fair value gap or daily fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really, too keen on price selling off a lot from this order block. So we might even see price, okay, respect it if it does respect it. shoot down, sweep these lows, and then push back up because I am bullish in the long run. But let's wait and see. Like I said, you don't have to predict the market. Just wait and see what happens. On the hourly, still really nothing. So I just want to see how price respects or rejects off this order block. If it gives us a nice sell, I don't mind taking a sell down to these lows. If we don't get a chance, then we just probably won't take a trade today again. Okay, I mean, the session started and it just dumped straight away. There's really no entry there for us. Let me see. Still no entry. This flip zone is not valid because on the M5 we didn't sweep liquidity. So these two candles coming up didn't sweep this high. So there's been no liquidity sweep, so it's technically not a valid flip zone. So that's why my eye is not immediately drawn to that. We could see price maybe sweep Asian low and then reject off of it. It's not really doing that. Okay, I'm not really seeing too much. Okay, this is a potential bullish opportunity, I guess. On the M5 maybe. What time? Okay, so we're still, this all the fair value gap has been mitigated, by the way. It's not really relevant as of right now. But because of this, order block pushing price down, this is a very valid buy, by the way. If you draw down to the M5, the idea of going bullish is valid, but because we are respecting this, 4-hour or hourly order block, I don't remember which one it was, I am anticipating price taking these lows. So I just don't want to, this would be a valid setup, but it would be a lower probability setup. Remember all the 5 things we go through: liquidity sweep, break of structure, fair value gap and a break of structure, unmitigated, and then no fair value gap below. That's technically does make this trade valid, but I just don't like the idea of going against this 4-hour order block. So I'm not going to take this trade, but we'll wait and see what price does. Does it even give her a chance to come in? Okay, yeah, so you would have been tagged in if you decided to take this trade at 1 o'clock, which means it's still valid in our time session. And let's see what happens. Yeah, price would have hit your stop loss. I just knew, I really anticipated price taking this low before anything. So I don't know. It wasn't really ideal. It wasn't a high probability setup. There's going to be times you take a trade like this and it does work out. But just know it's not the highest of probabilities going against a H4 order block or a H1 order block or liquidity sweep. So these are your lower probability counter trend trades. But that's really it for this day. There wasn't any other, opportunity to enter. I mean, you could have gone maybe a smaller risk to reward. Maybe if you took something like this. So you entered off here, stop shots below the low. Taken just the 1 to 3 at this high, maybe 1 to 4. That would have kind of worked out, could have. And then you closed it there. But this trade just wasn't high probability for me. So on to Wednesday. That's 2 days. Please don't get impatient. When you don't take a trade for 2 days, don't think your world is going to come crashing down. Because sometimes the rest of the week has, more to offer. And if you waste all your, RR or your drawdown or your leverage during the beginning of the week when the market conditions aren't favorable to your strategy, then when your strategy or setup does come, you're going to have to be taking those, winners or good trades with reduced risk because you wasted your, good leverage at the beginning of the week. But yep, on to Wednesday. Like we always do, start from the daily. What's the daily looking like? The daily is looking ugly as hell. Okay, but what I am seeing is price. Ideally for this day, we would have been bullish, aiming for previous. Let me delete all these lines so you guys don't get confused. On this day, we would have been bullish, aiming for previous day's high. Where is it? So this is previous day's high. But as you can see, this candle is already taking previous day's high. So what I'm looking at is, are we going to continue with that daily bias, which is bullish, or are we going to reverse? And to really understand that, I'll go down to the H4, see what the H4 does around that area. As you can see, price wicked off it twice, this previous day's high, which is a very good and strong indication that we are going down. Now, down to where is the real question you should be asking yourself. The next thing my eye draws to is this, low here on the H4. But I have a feeling because the general trend is bullish and because, I was saying that I'm anticipating price pushing into this area up here, that we might not make it all the way down here before we see a reversal. So I'll be looking for reversal points on a lower time frame. On the 1 hour, the 1 hour is really choppy. It's really, messy. It's hard to kind of frame an area I would like to see price reverse off. This is an order block. It's not the cleanest of order blocks, but it is one. Maybe. On the M15, that's really it for my H4, H1 analysis. There's not really a lot going on. M15, is there anything that lines up with, okay, look, there's a nice clean fair value gap right in this order block. So if I was anticipating price to respect this order block, I'd anticipate to respect it around this area, because that's when two PD arrays line up. So I'm just gonna play it forward and let's see what happens. Okay, so price is short into this order block. We'll see if we see a reaction. Now, as I am bullish, I would have loved to take sales into this area, but once price gets into this area, the idea of framing a reversal for a long is appealing to me. So if I get the opportunity to, let's say price comes into here, respects it, shoots up, I would love to take a buy. But if we just burst through the zone, then my eyes will obviously be pointing towards sales, aiming for this liquidity. So that's really what I'm waiting for. I'm just going to wait and see if we see a reaction off of that zone. Okay, we tapped into this area. So I would love to see a reaction on the M5 or M15 before I take my entry. I'm not really seeing anything too clean. Let me play it. What time is it? Okay, we're still in session. Okay. Time did that form? 12:30. Give it one more candle. Let me see what the M15 looks like. Okay. This looks kind of what I'll be looking for. So this here looks like... Sorry, let me just delete this bigger order block. You guys, I'm just going to focus on this fair value gap. So this... Let me make it a different color. This would be considered a flip zone order block. Let me change the color. So red. And just call it OB. Call it flip. Now, there are two order blocks in this situation here. And you know what? I said if price gets into here, gives me a nice reversal or, you know, change of character, then I'll be looking to go long. And that's what we're seeing here. So if you wanted to enter from this area, you could either enter on the flip zone, which I'm about to enter, or this original order block. So this candle here. So there's two areas you can enter from. But I keep on daily order, but we're going to focus on this flip zone. So how do I know it's a flip zone? Drop down to the M5. If you look at this, we swept all this liquidity down here. So which gives us the liquidity sweep, which is what we're looking for. We have the break of structure or chalk, that's 2. We have the fair value gap, that's 3. It's unmitigated, we have 4, and there's no fair value gap near our stop loss, that's 5. So this is a more valid buy. This is a higher probability buy. So I would have no problems taking this buy. Now, you could either enter at the top of this candle, aiming for this fair value gap if that's a 1 to 3, or you could use the fib levels that I spoke about in my previous video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back through the videos and watch them. And let's see, what's the size of this candle? It is 10 pips. So on a 10 pip candle, we get our Gantt box, we draw out the size of the candle. So this is, by the way, this is the whole order block, this black candle here. So as the candle is above 8 pips, we enter on a 0.5. So let's just say, let me delete this. Let's just say you wanted to enter on the top of the candle, that's completely fine as well. If you wanted to enter on a 0.5, that's completely fine. If you wanted to enter on this order block, all the way down here, that is also completely fine. As you can see, they all line up. And my entry is basically at the top of this order block anyways, this order block here. So regardless of what you wanted to enter on off, we would have probably taken basically the same entry or the same trade. So let me just adjust this, just covering the lows. Where do we aim for? Now, the highest probability TP would have to be this fair value gap here. This is my highest probability take profit. Let me just move this up a bit. That's my highest probability take profit for spread, by the way. That's why I moved it up. If you wanted to aim for the 1 to 3 just in this fair value gap, that is completely fine. But I am kind of convicted. I do feel like price is going to push past that just because of, you know, I'm bullish long term and we haven't pushed for this area yet. So I'm going to stretch. In real life, I probably would take this 1 to 3.7, call it a good day. But if you're someone who likes to stretch your TPs to, you know, hold on to winners, the next area you should look for is these highs, 1 to 5.61. I'm going to aim for that to show you guys the full potential of the strategy. And there's going to be times where you're going to get burnt out, where you aim too far and the market retraces on you. But then if you're really trying to stretch your TP, I would, you know, recommend you incorporate breaking even. But yeah, let's take this trade and see what happens. This could be a loser for all I know. But yeah, let's see. So I spoke you through all the conferences we need. Yep, there's no reason I shouldn't take this trade. risking 1%, and yeah, let's play it forward and let's see what happens. Okay, so we've been tagged in by this candle. If you wanted to break even, this would be your break-even point. Just to let you guys know, I do not break even on my trade. Unless it's a trade where I'm aiming for like a 1 to 6 plus, then I have to break even, because it's stupid to let the market reverse on you when you're already up more than 3R. So that's when I incorporate a break even. But for this trade, I'm not going to incorporate a break even. I'm just going to let it rock and we'll see what happens. But this will be your break even point. The high that forms a reversal back to your entry, or the low that forms a reversal back to your entry. I use that as my break even point. If I see a nice strong close above that area or below that area, then I'll consider it, you know, my time to be. So let's play it forward and let's see. This is a nice reaction off the order block. When you see a reaction like this off the order block, it usually tends to be a winner, but don't let me speak too soon. Okay, that's a nice reaction. So if you were to break even, you'd break even right here. But I'm just going to let the whole trade rock and let's see. Okay, we're in this fair value gap. So if price reaches this area and reverses on me and I take a loss, that's completely fine, because I would have put my TP here knowing that this is a, you know, probable area of reversal. But let's see what happens. Oh, okay, well, this trade did work out. So as you can see, like sometimes when you're, you know, confident in your analysis and you're confident where you think price is going to go, don't shy away from taking, you know, higher risk to rewards on your trades. Try to squeeze out as much as you can from your trades. This was a very clean entry. Price hit my entry just about to the wick and flew straight to take profit. So yeah, that's really it for this trade, guys. So right now we're up 11% on the account just in the month of January. So that really goes to show we started off slow in the backtesting series, but as you can see, price picked up and, you know, we're finding more favorable trades. Yet again, guys, this is backtesting. You want to not let the backtesting, you know, trades make you more confident than you really should be, if that makes sense. Backtesting and live are two different environments, because live you still have to account for your emotions. But yeah, that's really it for this trade. On to the next day. I don't think I can really squeeze anything out of this. So the next day. Okay, cool. So on this next day, what is it, Thursday? Okay, this is the last day of the backtesting session. This might be one of the quickest weeks we've done. Okay, so I am really anticipating price pushing into this zone, but it might not with the way we're moving. Like, price might not just take that zone yet. So this one, ideally we should be bullish aiming for previous day's high. We've already swept above previous day's high. So on the 4 hour, we've also swept this high and rejected it off the 4 hour and failed to close above it on the 4 hour, which means I am really seeing price dropping down to this area. Honestly, fair value up. This, I've seen this so many times, I can tell you guys this is what's most likely going to happen. We're going to come into this area, but we're going to do something like this first. Push into this fair value gap, gather the fuel that we need to push, and then we're going to take out this high. This happens so often, and the more and more you guys backtest, the more and more you're going to see this happen. So what I could do is try to take a sell, aim for this fair value gap, or wait for price to get there and then take the buy. I'm going to take whichever one comes up first, and we'll see. Okay, so when you see this happen, when price sweeps the high in Asia session, and, you know, I'm anticipating price shooting down into this area, this is one of the only times I ever take an order block that hasn't formed in my session. And that's because you can never know in trading. I have a good, strong feeling that price is going to push into that area because I've seen this pattern so many times. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I might not do that, but like these are the only conditions I consider taking is it Frankfurt order block? So order block that forms between 7 and 8 a.m. UK time. This is the only, like, this is my guy Wagyu, my A-star setup. But let's see what happens. Price is looking kind of rough, but I am anticipating a drop straight into this area and a push up. So we swept this high. I don't really see anything. If I can see any entry I can see from here, I'm going to be, it looks like this is even a nice entry that price is already pulling into this order block, but on the M15 it is kind of mitigated. So if I really wanted to take this trade, if you guys want to start, you know, taking order blocks that form in different sessions, please go back and backtest it. This is the only type of order blocks in different sessions I've backtested, so I do know this works. But if you want to take, you know, London order blocks from different days, New York session order blocks from different days or the same day, or Asia session order blocks from different days, please go back and backtest that a lot more in depth, because I haven't really done that because I don't need to. I don't see the reason to. I'm already profitable with the way I trade. So yeah, if you guys really want to do that, but yeah, for this example, it's looking like I am gonna take an Asian session order block, but that's because I'm very convinced the price is going down. I could lose this. I could very much lose this trade, and if I lose this trade, I could see price do something like this, shoot up straight into this order block, shoot up straight into this fair value gap, then shoot down. That's also a possibility I am considering. So if I lose with something like that, I'm willing to take that risk. We're already up 5% on the week already. I'm willing, more than willing, and this is the last day of the week. I'm more than willing to take this, additional risk on. So this order block does look appealing to me. Stops just above the high. Aiming for this fair value gap at a 1 to 3.4. Now my session has started, so we are in session. So technically, let's count through all the things we need to see. We need to see a liquidity sweep. We've seen price sweep all these highs. That's one. We need to see a break of structure or chalk down. We break these lows, we break this low as well, we break this low. That's multiple, that's three. We need to see a fair value gap in the, move that, form the break of structure or the chalk. There's one here, fair value gap here, and another fair value gap up here. So that's two, that's even more, that's four. And then no fair value gap above your stop loss. So on the M15, if I scroll out, I'm not scrolling back that far. I'm just going to assume there's no fair value gap above my stop loss. Now, this is a H4 fair value gap, but there's also a high here. So I know there's ideally not going to be a fair value gap above my stop loss. So that's really it for all the stuff. That's all 5 stuff, meaning this trade is valid. And it is higher probability. When you sweep out multiple highs on your liquidity sweep and you sweep out multiple lows on your break of structure, then it is a higher probability trade as well. So that's the only reason, guys, I'm considering taking this trade or the order block that formed in Asian session. And it's only because it is so high confidence. I don't see a reason why not to. There is news on this day. What news is that? The Orderblocks goes, yeah, sharp. I don't care about this news. This news is irrelevant. As of right now. I mean, if, we don't get tagged in coming closer to that time, then, guys, please don't take the trade. But it's basically at the entry. I don't see a reason why it takes longer than that. Let's see. Gonna give it a bit more space. Where is a valid area to aim for? Okay, so on the H4 we had this fair value gap. On the H1, is there an overlap that we could look to? There isn't an overlap, which means this H4 fair value gap might not hold. There is a fair value gap here, but that's not really, they don't really overlap, so I'm not really concerned about that too much. On the M15, honestly, I could really truly stretch my TP to here, this 1 to 4, or all the way down. This is a very big drag, but I do believe price could break this H4 order block. But I'm just going to aim for here, just at the top of this, 1 to 4. See if we can squeeze out a bit more. If I lose because of this, and guys, even if this does win or lose or whatever, just know that in the real market, when you try and squeeze your TP or try and be greedy, it usually doesn't tend to end well a lot of the times. But I'm just doing this for the sake of backtest. I'm just showing you guys the full potential of, holding your trades longer or trying to squeeze out the most from each trade. So yeah, that's really it. That's all I have to say. Let's play this forward and see if we get tagged in. So place order. I always set limits as well, by the way. I don't really market enter. Let's see if we get tagged in. Okay, we've been tagged in. Oh, this might hit stop loss. So the reprice reacted off of that. Okay. If you wanted to break even, this would be your break even point. The low that formed the pullback to your entry. So let me just call this BE. So let me just call this BE. So BE. Okay. And let's see what price does. Okay, I wouldn't break even yet, just because it wicked that low. It could still come back up, then drop again. If I see a nice strong but close below this low, then I'll break. If you're considering breaking even, I'll break even. Still haven't seen that. Still haven't seen that. Still haven't seen that. Okay, now you would technically break even. Okay, we are in this fair value gap, so I could genuinely see price reverse here and come back and tag me out. So breaking even in a trade like this wouldn't be a bad idea, because this is, an area for concern of reversal. And yeah, let's play forward and see what happens. Okay. Oh wow. If this doesn't hit the TP, that's gonna be the funniest trade ever. Oh. What's going on? Okay. Price here in the end. So this trade, I mean, it was also a good trade. Catching 2 winners, in a week it's gonna happen. On a week like this, if you took a funded on a Monday this week, you would have probably passed phase 1 and phase 2, risking 2% for every trade, which is usually what I do. So this would have been a very good week, and we're up 15% on the account just in the month of January. So that goes to show you guys. At the beginning, we had a slow start. We were missing trades, or we didn't get tagged in on trades, or we took losers. But if you just continue to show up every day, trade your system, and forget about, the money side. I know this is backtesting, but this thing genuinely applies in the real market. If you just forget about the profits and just show up every day and trade your system, I'm telling you, the profits start to roll in more and more. So I didn't let the losses get to me. I didn't let the mistrades get to me. I'm also not letting the winners get to me as well, because when you get overconfident, the market is very quick to humble. For the next backtesting session, we might just go 4 trades lost in a row, and it happens. So I just want you guys to know that just show up and trade your system every day. Even if it's not my strategy, show up and trade your system regardless of the results. But what day is it? Okay, it's Thursday. So that's basically it for this session, guys. I want to see what price did around this fair value gap. I want to see if we respected it or broke through and came to this low. I want to see if we respected it or if we break through and come down to this low. There is news also, so that could cause a reversal. Let's see what happens. Okay, your news would have taken it to this low. That would have been a good trade. And I just wanted to show you guys that when you trade the way I trade, or like your analysis is solid, news genuinely tends to follow my trades a lot of the time, except for FOMC. FOMC doesn't care. It doesn't listen to anybody. It does what it wants. But when your analysis is good, you're going to see news is going to tend to follow your analysis. So that's why usually when I'm about to take a trade, or I'm already in a trade and news is about to hit, I'm not really scared, because I know if my analysis was good, news is going to follow, unless it's, a very large news impact like FOMC, NFP, or CPI. Those ones, you just, honestly, that's basically a gamble. But yeah, that was really it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and peace.